The trees and flowers are blooming, and many Jewish communities are celebrating Tu B'Shvat. In the Talmud, it's known as the New Year of the Trees, but the Bene Israel community of India have a different association with the 15th of the month of Shvat. To them, it's the day of the ascension of Elijah the prophet to heaven. They call it Eliyahu Hanabicha Urus, the feast of Elijah the prophet. You see, the Bene Israel are said to have arrived at the Konkan coast south of Bombay in 175 BCE, basically before the Oral Torah was written down. As they lived in isolation for centuries, they were unaware of Tu B'Shvat and other laws and customs marked in the Talmud. It was mainly with their connection with David Rahabi that they came to be aware of the main tenets of Jewish law. It is said that he was the one who introduced them to many Jewish festivals, possibly including Tu B'Shvat, even if it is unclear who exactly Rahabi was and whether he came to the area in the year 1000 or in the 1700s. But the festival is a marking of something deeper than their isolation from the greater Jewish community. It is a marker of the Bene Israel reverence of Elijah the prophet. Bene Israel hold that the prophet's location of ascension to heaven is not where others typically have it, near Haifa in Israel, but rather in Kandala, in the Konkan region of India, near where the Bene Israel were shipwrecked in 175 BCE. As the scripture says, "Vayehi hem haolchim haloch vedaber, ve'inei rechev esh, ve'susei esh, ve'yafridu ben shnehem, ve'yal Eliyahu b'se'ara hashamayim." And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, which parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. In Kandala, Bene Israel note a horse's hoofprint and a chariot's wheel marks, just as is mentioned with Elijah's ascension. And Hindus and Indian Muslims likewise note the significance of this spot. So on Tu B'Shvat, Bene Israel have a feast to honor the prophet. For this feast, they celebrate, well, like they would any milestone. Bene Israel traditionally mark important events with the Malida, pressed rice and sugar, with grated coconut and 5 types of fruit. A notable male in the community leads chants, and those present repeat the Shema and the words Eliyahu Hanabi close to a dozen times. The one officiating the meal then makes the blessing over a cup of wine, picks up each fruit, and makes a blessing over each. After this part of the ceremony, the Bene Israel eat the Malida, and finally an extensive meal. But while the fruit may remind us of Tu B'Shvat, the Bene Israel focus on the prophet Elijah, who holds a special place in their over 2,000-year settlement in India.